My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Century Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am still under attack by Scientology. So let me explain Scientology. There are more than three dimensions. This is a fact. There are four layers of three sets of three dimensions each. So that equals 12 dimensions in total. It looks like inward expansion. These dimensions are on the inside of us. It expands inward. So our third dimension is just a shell. It's like the electrons are a shell for the entire 12 dimensions worth of particle. So there are more than 12 dimensions. We have biology in these extra dimensions. Extra dimensional biology you can't see while you're alive. We utilize this biology to have an afterlife. The human genome produces a 12-dimensional humanoid with horns on our head. We are designed to fly through outer space. We can fly. We have a big torso, little legs, big hands, and short arms. We are Anunnakis. That is the human afterlife experience. We are supposed to die and fly into outer space and live among the stars. Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before they die. They remove it from themselves, and they utilize technology and techniques to turn them into upper dimensional vehicles, biologies in which they can drive through the upper dimensions. And these organisms are known as aliens. So first off, there's the Anunnaki form. Some of them have an Anunnaki. It's a remote controlled Anunnaki. Then second, there are alien forms. Blue bloods, grays, greens, and even whites, which look like a more human in look more human in appearance. And then there are various biologies that they create that they can drive around of all different sizes. So let me explain this technology that they use. They have technology that interfaces with our brain and central nervous system. First off, this technology records sensory perception input. It allows them to create a hive mind, which allows the users to experience what each other experiences and speak to each other with an internal voice and interact with each other in a digital landscape. Then this technology artificially stimulates brain and central nervous system tissue. So they have a screen that sits in front of your thalamus. It allows you to see inside of your mind, uh, first off, your biologies that you drive, and then in the hive mind, it allows them to communicate with each other in a digital landscape. They can isolate individual memories and stimulate these memories. They can read memories. So in the afterlife, we are afforded special abilities. First off, we are invisible to the naked eye. You can't see them. Second, they can fly. Third, they have powerful eyesight. They have big 12-dimensional eyes. They can see down to the molecular level. They can see our biologies functioning on a molecular level. They can see individual neurons firing. They can see your neurochemical release. They can see your central nervous system lighting up. They can see fluid flowing through your biology. And they can manipulate genetic material. I'm sick. So the Scientology community has become a criminal enterprise. They are forcing people to assimilate. They force people to practice Scientology or force them into a hive mind so they can control your behavior. Anybody with authority, such as government officials, the FBI, the CIA, the military, or CEOs of big companies, or if you have a job that they desire to control, such as marketing companies, social media companies, you may get forced to assimilate. And then there's the biological theft. So this technology gives them the ability to drive other organisms that are not their own. They can drive humans, animals, insects, and worms in any dimension. So they steal biologies from the public in mass to create what they call surrogates, biologies that they can drive around that are not their own. So then there's biological theft. And then this technology has a narcotic-like effect upon the user. So they isolate individual neurons and stimulate these neurons. This controls the release of neurochemicals and hormones. They stimulate the production of dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and hormones such as testosterone, estrogen, and growth hormones. It has an extremely narcotic-like effect upon the users. They're twacked out of their heads. This has led to severe psychological issues within these people. First off, and the most important one to note, is irritability syndrome. Their elevated dopamine release is leading to extreme irritability within these people. They are quick to become violent. They are extremely offensive or offended. They are petty, jealous, greedy, and toxic masculinity is rampant among these people. Plus, they have the disposition that they are gods and they can do anything to the public that they want to do to them. They can steal biologies or force us to assimilate. They can take over our lives. They are mean and hostile people. So there are several Scientology companies that are involved in this scheme. First off, there's Preservision. They are responsible for creating the alien race and supplying this technology to the public or to other Scientologists. So they show themselves as white aliens, which appear human, giant humans in the sky, wearing white lab coats. Some of these Preservision specialists have become Dr. Kevorkians. They like to torture their subjects. They don't want you to have your own body parts because they see body parts as commodities, objects in which they use to complete their employment practices. And they like to take them away from people. They have many, many torture subjects because they have psychological issues. Then there's Yumas. They are responsible for creating aliens and supplying technology. And they have this sort of sideshow where they utilize this hive mind technology to give the users a thrill. They have several scenarios which they can present to the users such as like little joy rides. They can control your neurology and make you experience a lucid dream with pleasure and sensations and utilizing your own neurology, such as they have one called Riding the Pink Dinosaur, where you're a baby riding a dinosaur and you're dancing around and you feel good, and then you wink and get an illusion of grandeur. Like, yeah, I'm awesome. And then there's the Lizard Company, and I don't know much about them. These people have many, many victims. They traffic humans, both for sexual purposes and for donor organs. They kidnap people. They force people to assimilate. They have torture victims, rape victims. Ever since the 60s, humans have been reporting alien contact, lucid dreams, out of body experiences, waking up in the middle of nowhere, not knowing how you got there, torture, rape, sexual exploitation. And this can all be uh, explained by Scientology, their technology and what they do to people. So first off, biological death has become rampant because they need our organs and tissues to complete their alien forms. What they like to do is they like to remove the full 12 dimensions from themselves, or most of it. They have to leave organs and tissues behind so the owner can function properly. So they wind up with a biology missing organs and tissues because they had to leave some behind. So they take organs and tissues from the public to complete their alien forms. They take organs and tissues from humans to complete their alien forms. They take organs and tissues from other species such as reptiles, insects, and worms. They make lizard people using lizard body parts. They make insectoids or bug people using bug body parts. And they make worm people using worm body parts. They have a surrogate making business in the sky made by millions of stolen biologies. So, how this happened to me, they found me on social media. I used to be a political activist. I participated in politics a lot. I challenged the status quo. I had a large following of people. Someone decided to practice Scientology on me. It was these marketing companies. They installed technology in my brain. Then they started communicating with me using the platforms from social media such as Facebook. And it became apparent that they were invading my privacy. I told them to get away from me. I did not accept their advances. So then the government came and they installed hive mind technology in my brain. This allowed me to see and hear them inside of my head in a digital landscape. They told me they found a device. But some of these people in the hive mind are hostile. Because this technology has a narcotic-like effect upon them, it is causing psychological issues, and they are extremely violent people. They don't, they take victims constantly. There was conflict from the start. I did not want what they were doing to me, so I told them to get away from me, and they all jumped on me. I'm also an author. I write literature for fun in my spare time, and I like to help people succeed. I like to help people come up with their own ideas. People in the hive started stealing intellectual property from me using this hive mind technology. Then it turned into biological theft. They started stealing my biology because they were so attracted to my ability to create for surrogate purposes and for transplant purposes to complete their own alien forms. In their delusional minds, they thought that having my body parts merged with their own somehow made them better. And then it turned into a snuff film. They started destroying my biological function. They started taking body parts away from me that I was using, such as my brain tissue. I use it to sleep and to process information. They started stealing my organs and my biology. All of my extra dimensional biology has been removed from me. I am sick. I can't think straight. I stay nauseous and brain fog. They are infatuated with me. So I am an author and I come up with ideas and I'm a creator. I am part Native American. My Native American name is Crazy Bird. It means the Thunderbirds have gone crazy. I wrote Crazy Bird comics. It's about Crazy Bird. He's a Native American warrior. In some issues, he's cyborg. In other issues, he's just a superhero. But he's a scientist, extremely philosophical and extremely intelligent. And he uses technology and science to save the planet, to save the environment, and to help people. And as we get more into this, now he can see into the spirit world and he has contact with the Thunder Beings. And it's all based on a true story. Also wrote the ECA and Buffalo Dollars. It's about the ECA is a science council, the Environmental Creation Agency. It's a science council that replaces the Federal Reserve and uses trickle up economics instead of trickle down economics, which is what we currently use. It uses trickle up economics to purchase all of the needs of all of the life on this planet. So there's a cabinet for housing, a cabinet for communication, a cabinet for transportation, a cabinet for education, a cabinet for nutrition, a cabinet for wildlife and fisheries, a cabinet for policing, a cabinet for military, a cabinet for government. There's a cabinet for all aspects of our lives. And it uses Buffalo dollars as the currency to produce this. So Buffalo dollars is a currency that is given to all life on this planet. And once a transaction happens, once these cabinets approve a product or service for the life on this planet, a transaction occurs, and these Buffalo dollars turn into real currency that can be spent on anything within the law. Also wrote Alien Bob or Space Bob, Bug Bob. It's about helping life on this planet achieve a spacefaring race. It's about helping us evolve into organisms that can survive space travel and colonize other planets. These people are trying to steal my intellectual property. They're trying to torture me to death in some kind of religious zealot act, some kind of Christian martyrdom. They think they can torture me to death the same way Jesus was tortured, steal my intellectual property, and in turn use it to save the planet. See, once they force you to assimilate, you are theirs. They control everything you do. They try to take ownership of your life. They try to assume your identity. They have done the same with Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Barack Obama, and many other people. These preservation specialists and these humus specialists, they take biology away from these people and they create their little surrogates. And in their little game that they play, they now have ownership of your authority. They can control your authority using these surrogates. They make people so sick and psychologically ill. Yes, they have one of Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is up there. Barack Obama is up there, but it appears that Barack Obama is in control of his own biology. He is practicing Scientology. But they do the same thing to him. They try to assume his authority. Because he was president of the United States once, they now think that they have presidential authority over all of their people. Bill Gates is up there. He's a star person. And they are doing the same thing to my family. They became infatuated with my biology. I have a very strong mind. I like to practice having fun, such as listening to music and creating literature. They have stolen my biology, and now they think that they have a little intellectual property specialist. They torture me constantly. They try to cause me great pain and suffering. They don't want me to succeed. They don't want me to publish my own works. They don't want me to have a job or have a vehicle. They want me to stay right here on Center Hill where they can get to me. The Scientology community is violent. And these people are infatuated with me. They have picked my brain to pieces. They force me to lucid dream. They don't allow me to just sleep on my own. They force me to dream inside of their machine. And then they wake me up. They don't even want me to have that. They don't want me to have my own biology or have my own ability to function properly. So over the past few days, they have been pulling neurons off of my brain to keep me from sleeping properly. And then they mutilated my genitals some more. And it attacked my intestine. Because they have the ability to see our biology's functioning, and this hive mind technology, it gives them the ability to feel what we feel. They can feel my brain and central nervous system functioning. They can feel my organs functioning. They don't want me to have any pleasure at all. So any kind of PPT reaction that I have what our nervous systems experience when we function properly, such as digesting food or sleeping or having sexual intercourse or even having emotional responses or listening to music, you feel good. They don't want me to have it, and they can see what areas of my biology is functioning during these scenarios, and they assault me in that area of my biology. I do not consent for you to speak to me. I am in my own home. You are breaking the law. Please leave. Do not speak to me. Leave. I've contacted the CIA. I've contacted the FBI. I've contacted the military. I've contacted local police. And I've contacted the CDC. On top of all of this, since they have the ability to drive other organisms, they have poisoned me with worms, parasites, giant worms with teeth, and they use them as weapons and torture devices against me. Getting attacked with a worm in my throat. These aliens are remote controlled. People are standing on their third dimensional humans, driving these aliens onto my location. Scientologists. It appears that these people are not affiliated with the church. It is what they call the free zone. Ordinary people not affiliated with the church that are still using Scientology's technology to create their alien forms. They're all twacked out of their heads. They are extremely irritable. And on top of this, in this hive mind, they have created what they call a death and destruction aura. It is something one of these aliens that I call Michaels, he has gotten from the military, and he is subjecting the rest of the hive mind to. It is a feeling or a sense of it's hard to explain. It's a feeling that they subject the entire hive mind to. And this one is about war. It's about killing, death and destruction. I am extremely sick. I am in need of assistance. I need to find these alien drivers and make them stop their violence. I need to bring them to justice. They're doing the same thing to my animals and to the rest of my family. Because I am part Lakota, Native American, they have stolen biologies from the rest of my family because they see value in having Native American biology. We are inherently philosophical. We have a natural intelligence. It's the same way the Chinese do. Native Americans are naturally philosophical. I am extremely sick. I'm going to leave this video running for a few seconds. I'm going to get me a cigarette and another cup of coffee, and I'm going to discuss with you what they are doing to me at this very moment. They are at my home and they won't leave. They are driving their aliens onto my location, and they are using these aliens to harass and harm me. And another thing to mention, some of the things that Scientology has presented to the public is true. So aliens are real. They are not third dimensional. They are extra dimensional organisms controlled by a third dimensional human. So they are remote controlled EDs. That is real. These things they call body thetans, they are also real. It is another surrogate. They was not created by some explosion that some ancient alien caused. They are made from human body parts. There is a part of our biology that is like pure energy. If it is removed from us, they fashion it into a part of it, or the whole thing, they fashion it into a biology that can be driven. They can come through the electrical circuits in a wall. They can get inside of your nervous system and walk through your neurons. Anything that has an electrical impulse, any kind of conduit, they can travel through this material. They are premeditating my death. They won't stop subjecting me to their voices. And in their this narcotic like state that they keep themselves in, some of them are addicted to the drama. Some of them have been inspired by my intellectual property and they're writing their own stories. They won't stop putting their hands on me. I have holes in my head. They cored out my entire brain where my thalamus is. They took a coring machine and cored through my entire head. I got holes on each side of my head where they removed my thalamus. This gave them accessibility to my brain. Now they use their little body things and they crawl all inside of me. They removed organs and tissues to give them space to sit inside of me. They treat us like spaceships. They get on their little body thetans and they climb inside of the human biologies. Yes, they can see what we see. They use our thalamus screen and they treat us like spaceships. The company's preservation and humans need to be brought down. I understand that our governments and the people in control, they want to have the special abilities to come with practicing Scientology. And because it has become so criminal, they're trying to keep it secret. I understand wanting this extra level of control among the population. But you can't turn Scientology into a surrogate making business and steal biologies from the public in mass. There are people suffering badly in mass and they don't even know what's wrong. They are missing body parts. Last night they removed more brain tissue. They have been infatuated with my neurons. They want to take them away from me. They don't want me to have dopamine release or serotonin release. They don't want me to be able to sleep. They cut my legs this morning just out of spite. Yes, these Scientology companies have become surrogate making farms. They are surrounded by body parts constantly. They have a female, which I don't know if she is being driven by a male or it's actually a female presence. She's narrating this whole thing. It is a snuff film they're making. And she's sitting here telling me what they're doing. She won't leave. Get away from me. I do not consent for you to speak to me. Yes, I have an alien presence. I know all of these things are a fact because I have experienced them. I used to be an alien myself. They woke me up. They allowed me to lucid dream. They allowed me to utilize. They turned me into an alien. I've driven an Anunnaki. I've driven one before. I've driven my white or my blue blood. They turned me into a blue blood. They let me experience this for a short while just so they could take them away from me. It is a game they play with me. They show me my biology functioning. They stimulate me, such as my brain and central nervous system tissue and my sexual organs. Those stimulate me and get me functioning and show me how good their wares are. And then they cut it off. They cut off my body parts. They are sick and disgusting people. They killed my alien forms. Me and my animals are sick. And they won't leave. Leave! I do not consent for you to be here. You are breaking the law. This is home invasion. Keep your hands off of me. Now he's threatening me and my animals. He's saying he's going to hurt me and my animals. A preservation specialist. White coat guy. So when the government decided to install hive mind technology in my brain, they held a hearing on my behalf to determine my mental status. There are laws in the United States that allow the government a heightened level of surveillance among people that are mentally unstable. So they use the system to try to allow themselves to get away with this. However, I've been contacted by other government officials claiming this was wrong. There's only so many types of surveillance they can use among people. They can't stick stuff inside of you. They can only bug your house. They can bug your phones. They can hack your computers and your phones. They can't stick stuff inside of you. They can't subject you to voices or hive mind technology. And this has turned into a snuff film. And on top of this, they're trying to create some false narrative which claims that I have done something wrong to somehow justify their criminal behavior against me. The only thing that I have done wrong that is against any laws is petty drug use. And they exacerbate drug use. They are used to getting away with this kind of treatment towards humans. These alien abductions, this illegal surveillance, this kidnapping, forced assimilation, human trafficking, biological theft. They are used to getting away with things like this. And if worse comes to worse, they are presented with a scenario such as in my case, where I'm a free man. I have not done anything wrong. They try to set me up or try to create some false narrative or pick at my behavior to try to justify their criminal behavior against me. It's the same thing law enforcement does. Like that case where they killed that woman not too long ago. They shot through the wrong house and murdered a woman. Then they broke inside of the house and they found a small amount of marijuana. And they tried to use that possession of marijuana as a way to justify what they had done to this poor woman. It is the same mentality that they are doing to me. Whenever someone brings up what they're doing is wrong, they say, well, he's done this and he's done that and he's done this. All drug related issues. I was forced to assimilate way before I done anything wrong. They have done horrible things to my biology. They put a hole in the back of my jaw, and they drove a worm through the back of my jaw into my teeth. Then they put a hole above that, and they let a worm crawl inside of my mouth. They put a hole inside of my tooth and crawled down inside of my tooth, and they would constantly move its arms and legs. They have worms with arms and legs, and it caused me great pain. A guy in the Air Force did this to me. They constantly poke me in the trachea using worms. They use these worms to put pressure on my brain tissue, and it's too hard. It hurts extremely badly. I take psychiatry meds because of this whole ordeal. They keep me calm. They have an effect on my central nervous system. They didn't want my medicines to work properly, so they sliced my nerves to pieces. And now I can't feel my medicines working anymore. They did the same thing with other drugs. I took amphetamines once. I had to leave my home and I wound up with the homeless people. And I wound up taking some amphetamines. Well, that day they removed my entire brain from my head. They didn't want my amphetamines to work properly. This all stems from pettiness. In their narcotic like state, they don't want people to succeed. Their irritability syndrome causes them to attack people that are succeeding in some way. They don't want me to practice politics. They don't want me to challenge the status quo. They don't want me to succeed in doing that. They don't want me to succeed in having a life. They don't want me to have a job or have money or have a vehicle. They don't want me to write my intellectual property. They don't want me to succeed. It's out of pettiness that they are doing this. This Scientology community has people in the CIA, they have people in the FBI, they have people in the military, the CDC, and all other government agencies, politicians, and big business owners. They all are beholden to Scientology, not to the public or not to the Constitution. They are communistic in behavior. They try to control people. They don't want me to smoke a cigarette. They don't want me to drink coffee. They like to assault me when I do these things. They play a game. If he smokes a cigarette, I'm going to assault him in such and such brain tissue or such and such organ system. And they do the same thing when I'm drinking coffee. They removed my adrenal function because I was drinking coffee. Everything that humans experience comes from our extra dimensional biology. Our third dimensions are just a shell. If you remove nervous tissue in the extra dimensions, you go numb. So, because of their criminal behavior and what they have grown accustomed to, a lot of these people are dreaming of an apocalypse, especially government officials, combat professionals. They want to murder most of the human race. And they want to use worms and biological death to do so. They are responsible for the corona outbreak, the COVID outbreak. Just been assaulted again. It assaulted my brain and central nervous system. I'm in pain at the moment. Said they also removed an organ, one that was trying to go back. Yes, I'm still in the process of writing my intellectual property. I have a few issues of my comic book done. I could go on ahead and publish it, but I got to come up with the money to publish. I'm in the process of working on my disability, or I might wind up going back to work. I don't know. But they won't leave me alone long enough for me to live my life. They won't let me have a job. They assault me badly at work. They keep me sick because I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I can't make a video, which stops their behavior.